and thank you for joining us on CBS 8 Plus. I'm Heather Myers. Here at CBS 8, we are working for you and getting to the bottom of problems that you've asked about and looking for solutions. We start with an email that we received from a woman whose husband spent days waiting for a room at UCSD Hospital in La Jolla. She said her husband was placed in a hallway, then in a conference room for 4 days. CBS 8's David Gottfredson talked to UC San Diego health nurses who say they have been working in these conditions for years.
A CBS 8 viewer emailed working for you after she says her husband spent 4 days in a hallway ER and a conference room at UC San Diego Hospital in La Jolla. There is no privacy in the conference room set up for 12 patients, the woman wrote. The patients are handed earplugs and eye masks to get some sleep. These nurses work at UC San Diego hospitals.
There is no bathroom. You either have to go around the corner into the lobby where there's a bathroom, or use the porta potty, or use a bedside commode.
The practice of making people wait in hallways or in a conference room is called patient boarding.
There's no privacy, and a lot of times you are staring at the person on the other side of the room.
The UC La Jolla nurses tell me patients can expect up to a 7-hour wait in the ER and 3 to 5 days of waiting in a conference room or an overflow tent or in a hallway to be admitted to the hospital. How many can they hold in the tent?
11.
How many can they hold in the conference room?
12.
How many in the hallways around the ER?
Close to 30.
ER nurse Maria Tan says the use of these waiting areas began during the COVID pandemic and never went away.
There should be better coordination so that not all patients are being admitted all at the same day.
A hospital spokesperson emailed me a statement saying in part, UC San Diego Health has a comprehensive discharge process in place and continues to evolve workflows for maximum efficiency. We have developed a sophisticated AI-based predictive model that helps forecast and implement various processes to address surges in patient flow. Late last year, UC Health purchased Alvarado Hospital and renamed it East Campus Medical Center. UC San Diego says 300 patients have been transferred there over the past 2 months, opening up more capacity at the La Jolla Hospital. Now, this problem of boarding patients in the hallways is not unique to UC San Diego here in La Jolla. It's happening at hospitals all across the state. In fact, nurses from University of California will be protesting in Sacramento on Tuesday in front of the California Department of Public Health to bring attention to the issue. In La Jolla, David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
Roughly a quarter of SDG&E's customers are behind on their monthly energy bills. CBS 8's Brian White is working for you to find out what kind of help is out there to get people back on track.
A recent filing with the California Public Utilities Commission shows that as of January, more than 361,000 SDG&E customers were at least 1 month behind on their energy bills. That represents about 26% of their residential customer base.
The fundamental and root cause of this is the high SDG&E rates.
Edward Lopez is executive director of the watchdog nonprofit UCAN, the Utility Consumers Action Network. He says this problem is not new.
This problem is too outstanding. It's contributing to general unaffordability, especially here in California and San Diego.
But on the positive side, the number of past due accounts dropped by 16,000 compared to the previous month, and the total dollar amount collectively owed by customers fell from $275 million in July to $255 million in January.
We care. We understand it may be stressful to be behind on your bill. But we are always here to help.
Anthony Wagner with SDG&E says communication is key. He says the number one thing someone can do if they fall behind is to contact them.
I think it's safe to say we've yet to find a customer that we've not been able to help. regardless of their circumstance.
So what kind of help is out there? Well, for one, the CARE program offers low-income customers who qualify a 30% discount. And then there's the FARA program, Family Energy Rate Assistance. If you have 3 or more people in your household and meet the low-income requirements, you could save 18% on your monthly electric bill. And then there's the federally funded Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, which provides one-time financial assistance for an eligible household's utility bill, or if you're in danger of having your power turned off. And if you don't qualify for any of these, you still may be able to get on a payment plan.
They shouldn't feel ashamed of falling behind in their bills. That's just a sad state of reality right now. Reach out to SDG&E, let them know you'd like to be on a payment plan.
Working for you, Brian White, CBS 8.
CBS 8 is working for you after a motorcycle rider was hit by a car in El Cajon. Dashcam video appears to show the driver of the car running a red light. As CBS 8's David Gottfredson reports, the motorcycle rider says he is getting the runaround from the insurance adjuster.
She came and just plowed right into me, and she must have been doing 35, 40 miles an hour.
Julian was riding his 2021 Indian Scout motorcycle in El Cajon 2 months ago when the driver of a red car appears to run a red light and plows into him.
She hit me on the left saddlebag, spun me 180 immediately, and it happened so fast that the force just literally just threw me to the ground.
Julian asked that his last name not be used. He says the driver of the red car was insured by Kemper Auto Insurance, but at the time his motorcycle insurance had lapsed.
My insurance was supposed to be drafted monthly, automatic withdrawal, and for some reason it was not drafted, and I was not covered therefore on my own insurance.
Fortunately, Julian was not seriously injured. He thought since the driver of the car ran a red light, her insurance would cover the $9,000 in damages to his motorcycle.
The insurance, they're saying that the lady might have been an excluded driver. They seem to just be delaying. This happened on the 17th of January.
I reached out to an injury attorney. His first piece of advice for Julian: don't believe the insurance companies.
The insurance companies are in the business of collecting premiums. They are not in the business of paying out on claims.
San Diego attorney Brett Schreiber says in order for insurance to lapse or for that driver of the red car to be excluded, under California law, the policyholder has to be notified in advance in writing.
I'll bet you money right now that Kemper is wrong. He shouldn't just take their word for it, and very well, should find someone who is willing to at least give this a proper scrub.
I reached out to Kemper Insurance for comment, but did not receive a response. We'll keep working the story and let you know what happens.
The insurance adjuster actually asked me what I could have done different. Did I try to avoid her? Of course I did.
David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
Wow. The American dream of buying a home keeps getting more and more out of reach for so many. One study says you need to make close to $300,000 a year to comfortably afford a typical home in San Diego. Another study says it will take couples more than a decade to save for a down payment on a home. CBS 8's Abby Black is working for you and spoke with a financial advisor who breaks down how owning a home is still in arm's reach, but it will take a lot of discipline.
$273,613 is the household median income that Zillow says is needed to comfortably afford a typical home in San Diego.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Casey Broach is the vice president at DACA Investments. He's a financial advisor who says this report should not crush your dreams of owning a home in America's finest city.
It's attainable with a lot of proper discipline and obviously a very defined goal set.
Broach says after you've figured out what you can realistically afford and what the down payment will be, let's break this down to an acronym.
I call it the carrot method.
C is create a monthly, annual, and projected budget and analyze your income and expenses. And A is set up an automated savings account, whether that be from a paycheck via direct deposit or after you've paid something off.
That's usually the easiest. It's like car payments or a cell phone payment. As things automatically get paid, that's going to make it a lot easier.
R is reduce your spending and see where you're throwing away money, and do this annually by checking your bank and credit card statements.
Do you have Netflix, Hulu, Disney, you name all the media type subscriptions you may have on top of cable, on top of maybe a radio subscription.
I is for increased income that you can tuck away.
Side hustling DoorDash. They're doing these delivery type services out there. Maybe they are selling items from their homes that they don't necessarily need anymore. I mean, I have kids that are constantly rotating through older ages of their sports. I have a lot of sports gear. Once a year, I'm doing garage sales.
And finally, T is for track your progress and monitor it consistently to make sure that you're still closer to meeting your goals.
Your timeline to when you may be a buyer of a home is going to dictate how successful your initial plan is.
Broach says if you follow the carrot, you can achieve the American dream of owning a home.
If that is one's goal, then there's abilities to achieve it. It's just here in San Diego specifically, it's going to take a lot of discipline and likely a lot of sacrifice to get you into that position to buy a home.
That was Abby Black reporting. Broach also says reach out to a mortgage counselor who can give you some insight about first-time homebuyer programs and low down payment options to try and make this possible. Well, the state of California is about to open up its lottery system for the California Dream for All program. It's a taxpayer-funded down payment assistance program that could allow prospective home buyers to borrow a 20% down payment to buy their first home. The program ran out of money in just 11 days last year. This year, it opens up on April 3rd. Although it's called Dream for All, there's only about $250 million available, which means less than 2,000 prospective homeowners will even get this help. There are many things you need to know about the paperwork that has to be done ahead of time, and we are working for you to find out what you need to do. California Dream for All, the state-funded program, is releasing another $250 million to help people with a down payment on a home. The first thing you need to do is check out the requirements on the state's website, calhfa.ca.gov/dream. There you will find all of the requirements. You must be a first-time home buyer. You must meet income requirements and be a first-generation home buyer.
That would mean that one of the borrowers, at least one of the borrowers' parents could not have owned a home. So this is really trying to get people into homes that not only do they need a little bit of help, but perhaps they need help generationally.
To find out more about this, I sat down with Tracy Campagna and Michael Kane, the San Diego mortgage couple. They are approved lenders in the Dream for All program. They say as far as the income requirements are concerned, it varies by county. Here in San Diego County,
the income requirements are $185,000 max per family. And the credit score requirements are a minimum of 660. However, the more or the higher credit score you have, the better.
If you meet the requirements, you will need to get pre-approved by a lender, which means gathering paperwork. The lender will ask for
at least 1 month of pay stubs, 2 years of W-2s. If you're self-employed, 2 years of business and personal tax returns, 2 months of bank statements, and a copy of your IDs.
Once you receive pre-approval from the lender, you are required to take an online class back on the state's website. The class takes about an hour.
And then from there, you get a certificate generated. You would send that to your lender, so us. And then we fill out a little form, we give that to you, and then you take that form and you upload it and you apply or you register to be within the lottery.
If selected, you can be given a max of $150,000 to use as a down payment. The money would have to be paid back if you sell or at the end of the term of the loan. Not only do you pay back that down payment, but you also have to give the state 20% of the equity you have earned.
It is a shared equity program, so it's not just a down payment assistance. So it's important to know that it's not just money that you get and eventually have to pay back. You have to pay back the money plus a portion of the future equity that you may earn. So it's 20% of the shared equity plus any of the money that you borrowed from the state.
The lottery system opens up April 3rd and will close at the end of April or when the money runs out. To read the fine print, go to our website, cbs8.com. Remember, if there is something that you would like us to look into, email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. Thanks for joining us here on CBS 8 Plus. We'll see you next time.